So this area here, where we were digging earlier and found all of the stuff in the ground, this was a cabin burned down probably about 100 years ago. I'm not sure about the date or anything like that or who lived here, but I do know that when my grandfather got this land, it had already been burned down. They did know that there was a cabin here. There's an old foundation. There were the ruins of the burned down cabin, but over time that's just kind of been more dilapidated. I know that this was kind of, unfortunately, a bit of a dumping ground for trash that they couldn't get rid of. So there's like box springs and stuff in there. This is something we really want to clean out and make use of. I would love to get all the trash out of here and make it a useful part of this property. We're not sure what the cabin looked like. I don't have pictures of it. And it looks like it only had a partial foundation. And apparently there were some outbuildings that went with it. All we have left is this little corner foundation that we can see. I don't know if you can see it in this. The weeds have grown up again. But we'll be uncovering that eventually, and you'll see that. There was also a barn on the property. I'll show you where that was. This area here is where the barn used to stand. I don't really know a whole lot about the barn, but there were still a lot of stones and rocks in here from the foundation of that as well. Most of the lumber from the barn, my grandfather and his siblings pulled that apart and used that to build the little shack that we've been working on eventually. Originally they used this property and this clearing here for camping, and I guess they went through several iterations. They used to camp out in tents, and then they would come up here and they built a big platform, I guess, to camp on for a while. They decided they didn't like that, which is when they used all the lumber from the barn that was, I guess, at that point kind of fallen down. They pulled that apart and slapped it together to make that shack that's there now. And over the years, we've kind of used it as a kind of a hub for picnics and kind of family reunions and things like that. It's been a kind of a nice place to recreate. At one point, there was power that ran to it, just powered a couple of lights and stuff. But storms pulled down those wires, and I guess that never got restored. So it is truly off-grid here now. It's not attached to any kind of utilities or power. It is just a raw piece of land with a little shack and an outhouse on it. But over the years, my father kind of took up stewardship of this, and he's kind of kept everything standing as it is. Doesn't do a whole lot with it. He mows the clearing, or he has been. He's been mowing the clearing and making sure he deals with trees that fall and stuff like that. And he's made over the years some alterations to the little shack because over time it's been trying to fall over. So he's just done stuff to shore up the roof and make sure it stays where it's at. That's kind of at least my working knowledge of this spot. To me, it was always, I came up here and we would come up for special events like family reunions and picnics, and I got to run around and play here in the clearing and in the woods. And that's what it was for me for a lot of years when I was a kid. But that was it. I know it mostly sat here by itself, unless we were using it for that. So as far as I understand it, it is a little bit uncertain. This land has been in my family for quite a while. My grandfather and his siblings, well, the larger chunk was, and this ended up being his plot. So some of the adjacent land still belongs to family members and cousins and stuff. As far as I know, this land was purchased a little bit later than some of the original land. I'm not sure. But I do know that there was a cabin and a barn here. This was a farm quite a long time ago, back in the 17 or 1800s. About a similar time to when all of the, maybe just before, there were iron mines nearby. This building, these boards here, I'm pretty sure, are original from that old barn. They're old oak boards. They're pretty rough cut, rough hewn. I mean, that barn went out of use probably about 100 years ago when that cabin burned down, or the house. I don't know what exactly that. It was a residence. But being that these boards are so old, they've held up rather well. This is at least their second use. And this has been here as long as I can remember, and I think it was pretty old when I was little. And they're still here. And this isn't modern building techniques or anything like that. It's just kind of sitting on the ground. So a lot of these boards are basically ground contact, and some of them are just starting to rot out at the bottom. So that's a testament to the quality of the wood that they used in that barn, because these are well over 100 years old and still kicking, and they are heavily weathered. They're exposed here. They're sitting on the ground, and they're still holding up pretty decently. Our big effort here is going to be to try and keep this from decaying any further. We're not going to. I don't want to make any drastic changes to this structure. We want to make it somewhere we can stay in while we're building some other stuff. But other than that, I want to keep this kind of the same, because this is very nostalgic to me and my family, and there's a lot of history here. If we just tore it down and rebuild it, or did some massive wholesale changes to it, I feel like it would take a little bit of that away, and kind of trying to keep it as it is. We got this land through my mother. It was her parents' land. It got handed down to her, and then later in her life she signed over the land to my siblings and I and all of our spouses. We all are owners of the land here. That's been a great opportunity. This has been something that's been really important to me. This piece of land has a lot of memories for me. Just coming here and camping and spending time with family. So I wanted to make that. I want to preserve what this is and what it was, as well as make some changes here that allow us to keep using it in a really sustainable way. Trying to balance the two, I guess. We'd like to keep this clearing kind of as it always has been, and then on the fringes in the woods build some things that allow us to stay here and be stewards of this property and of this forest that's here. I know that we have some neighbors that we can kind of see through the trees here, so we're not completely out in the middle of nowhere. But it is very, very serene and peaceful here. There's very, very little traffic nearby. There's not a whole lot going on. So, and eventually, if we are able, we would love to expand upon the land that we have here. And that's probably going to start with this spot that I'm standing on right now. This is where we're going to put our bathhouse. It's kind of a little secluded spot. We need to upgrade that outhouse that's on the property here. It's definitely long past served its purpose. We need something a little bit more updated, a little bit more useful, and something that's going to last a really long time and serve us well here, so that we have somewhere to go for that, and somewhere to clean up and do all that kind of stuff while we're here. It makes everything here go a little smoother. So that this is kind of the starting point, this and the cleaning out that old foundation. And in order to do that, we also need to get the shack that's built over there kind of sealed up so that it's a little easier to stay in. Not that it's impossible now, but making things a little bit more livable. And then we can get started on our real mission here, which is being stewards of this land, managing the forest here. pretty ripe. Nope. None of these are quite ripe yet. A little early. Good look. This here is the fire pit. We've made a lot of use of this recently, coming up here to camp and stuff with the kids, which is great. This has always been here as long as I remember. It's been kind of a staple of this place. It's kind of but tucked into the corner back here. It's its own little kind of private place with the fire pit. So that's definitely staying. We're definitely gonna try and maybe revitalize it a bit to make it a little, a little nicer. But this has always got to have a fire pit. It's the best. And then just off to the side here, there's the remnants of a path, which we're probably going to clear again. We used to have a hiking path that went through the forest and looped around and came back around on the other corner of the property over there. Used to be maintained, but hasn't been for a really long time. That I would really like to get that trail blazed again and get that all cleaned up so that we can use that as well, because it's pretty nice to have a nice path to walk through the woods. Along with that path, we would like to have a food forest where we can kind of graze and harvest as we go, as well as contributing to the food resources for the local animals and such. We're probably going to have to change our plan for what we were going to do for water while we're here. The nearby town had a spring at its center, which is kind of central to that town's culture, really. That's what the town sprung up around. No spring, pun intended. However, that spring was not owned by the town. It was owned by a company that does bottled water, and they have that tapped so that the townspeople have access. The locals have access to that water and can come get it free of charge. However, that company has been bought by a much larger corporation, and now they're going to be closing access to that water. They're going to be improving the pump house that's there, and as part of that, they're reportedly going to close public access to the water. So that was kind of part of our plan. That's been that way as long as I can remember, which means that cuts off the source of water we were planning to use for our drinking water while we're here. So we have to look around and find another source for that, because there is no running water or well here that we are aware of. We were kind of hoping over in that old house foundation that we might find an old well that we could reopen. We really don't want to get involved in digging a well. If we can avoid that, I would like that. However, there are some other local springs that we're going to go check out here soon to see if they'd be viable and maybe close enough for us to keep that plan going. Might just have to drive a little further. But we are pretty sad about that. Going to get water from that spring was also something that was a childhood memory for me. It's something we've always done for a long time. It's just something that's always been there, and now that's gone too. Another reason, things like that, is why we have this opportunity with this land to kind of keep it and take care of it and preserve it and kind of keep it how it is, and not necessarily to hoard it for ourselves. It's just sometimes progress for the sake of progress sometimes can be detrimental. So we want to be thoughtful and mindful about the progress that we make and keep this as an asset for ourselves and future generations.
We're gonna go to Dollar General so we can get a cup so we can put some water in it, because we're gonna go to the different springs. We're gonna taste test the water to see which one we like the best.
I don't know how much they are. These will work. Actually, why don't we get smaller ones?
We are having some difficulty finding the first spring, because where it said it was, we have not been able to find. I guess it's a well-kept secret. I'm not really sure. So we gotta hopefully find it before it gets dark out. Is that it? That's it! Oh, we found it!
You're right. Parking is a bitch here.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. We gotta walk to it because it's on the side of a road. Very, very precarious, but we'll see how it works out.
How about we have one that we just try it right away? Or do you trust doing that?
I don't care.
And then we have one that we keep the sample in that we don't do that with.
Okay.
Go to the other side. So we're already over.
No, there is no berm.
We're getting closer.
Get closer. There it is.
What an interesting setup. Why right here? So this must have been something cooler at one point. They just put that there so they could sit their jug there and fill it up.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a sample. Well, what they separate out for the...
Wow. You're gonna try it first.
If I get sick. It's alright.
I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at how clear that is. Oh, it's so cold too.
Yep.
Wow.
Tastes like the ground.
Tastes like the... Okay, ready? Here goes nothing. It literally tastes like nothing.
Yep.
Which is how water should taste.
And we're gonna send this to the lab for testing. And then...
Yeah, we already did that. Our bellies.
Well, if you don't hear any more from us, this is what happened.
It's alright.
Alright,
I'm not upset about it. Okay,
let's try some other
on
ones.
to the next place. Alright, just like the other one, we had a hard time finding this one, but we finally found it, and now we're here. Getting some water. Getting some water.
Just had to get a mug full of that water.
Yeah. Is it good? You like it?
Yeah.
We're trying it out.
For the next,
That pipe,
for another week,
Another
I guess.
couple of days. And then they're closing it.
all they're closed. I never even knew that. Because I used to see strings of people that are parked there throwing jugs out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a couple of years.
Yeah.
We still get our water there, so.
Okay.
You too. Oh yeah,
Look at
this
that.
one looks like it's actually meant to give people water.
I mean, that pipe is a little...
Algae?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
that's our sample.
Yep. And here they're drinking from.
Alright, let's try it. That guy liked it, so...
Yeah.
This tastes better.
Really?
Oh yeah, taste this.
All right.
That is amazing water.
All right, let's see if I like it. Oh my god, it's colder.
And
Somehow.
better. And it tastes really good.
It's all that algae.
Alright, this is the preferred one, I think.
Burring.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, that's way better. I hope it's a little closer too.
I think it's about the same.
And at least we don't have to walk as far for this one.
Yeah, it has a place we can comfortably get off the road.
Yeah. It seems like we might have found a winner after only 2 tries. But we're gonna go back to Pappy's house and see, because I think he had some other ones that were a possibility, although Dane thinks it was this one.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go back, see what he says. If there's more, we'll go back out tomorrow. If not, this is probably where we're gonna be getting our water from to drink.
Mm-hmm.